Okay, so I basically looked up Metavanti from my ASN. So they're actually, see them here listed here. Um, what is this company doing on my ASN? I have no idea, so let's look them up. It looks like they are, let's see here, one of the fastest in New Jersey, fastest growing companies, world leading provider of centralized expert assessments in clinical trials of treatments for central nervous systems disorders. Announced it was selected as one of New Jersey's 50 fastest growing companies. So this company is actually on my ASN and they're in New Jersey. So that's highly suspect. And that is a suspect company. There looks like they're doing clinical trials. So this is probably one of the companies that is doing non-consensual testing on me. Um, yeah, they're using provider centralized expert psychiatric and neurocognition rating and monitoring services to pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and medical device industries. Metavanti Solutions help providers achieve an enhanced array of sensitivity for increased drug effect and reduced trial failure rates, enabling them to bring better drugs and faster sensitivity for increased drug effect and reduced trial failure. I just repeated that. I'm sorry. Enable them to bring better drugs to the market faster. Metavante operates facilities in Hamilton, New Jersey, Moscow, Russia, Munich, Germany. For more information, please visit metavante.com. These guys might be the ones that actually were helping develop the coronavirus vaccine, I believe. So I have some kind of ties to this, either vaccines or some type of pharmaceutical drugs um, that they were able to test on me because they should not be on my ASN network. They already took themselves off. These offenders already have actually took themselves off. But let me just continue on here. Get that bigger. So that's one company that's on there. Scarsdale Security System, Viacom Computer Services. Just go down here and look here. SUNY Westchester Community College. What the hell are they doing on my ASN? SPT Partners. That's the hotel chain. Oh, this one is Star Wars Capital right here. That's actually hotel. Those are hotels that I actually went to. It seems to be like the companies that I interact with end up on my ASN. All right, let me go to the next third one that I screenshot here. So here we have Sunrise Medical Laboratories. I've dealt with them with test results. They're on my ASN. They shouldn't be on my ASN. And you can see these are actually customers. The relationship with customers are actually paying to be on that network. Let's go down. Like at Sleepy's LLC. I guess they're doing sleep studies. Westchester Jewish Community. I don't know why these people are on my ASN. The only thing I can remember is when I was doing research when this pandemic came out. You know, there was a guy that drove into Westchester, one of the towns there, to see if there was any kind of military presence during the pandemic, and it turned out to be just the National Guard, like one or two National Guards people were there. So maybe they were spying on me because I was doing research on that. Alpine Funds, I'm not sure what that is. County Morris. Yeah, I'm not sure what all the rest of these are, but these are some of the companies. And then the last one, which is this Town of New Canaan. Now, Town of New Canaan, I actually did work at the university there in New Canaan. So maybe they're involved in my targeting or research and development. Um, the town itself, I don't know. It's probably just one or two people in there that are either spying on me or whatever. They shouldn't be on my ASN. They're actually in Connecticut. So you can see that it's a big difference between the live feed and the old feed that I have here. So when you do your research on this, you want to take screenshots, because what they'll do if they find out that you're researching this stuff, they're gonna take themselves off the ASN. So you can see that these are a lot of these are peer networks, service providers are on here, and then customers are actually customers who actually pay to be on the network. So these customers, these three here, are actually customers who are actually paying to be on this ASN. An ASN is basically a network on the Internet Service Provider, which provides these companies direct connections to that particular network. I like to call it network segments. So if they're doing, like, if they want to do live streaming on you or spying on you, and they want to get a good internet connection, they're going to want to have a peer or customer connection to that ASN. That'll give them the fastest direct input or outputs to your, because I'm on 6128. If the other guys, if the perp is on 6128, they can make a high-speed connection to my systems or my computers or my whatever I have, my medical devices in me, and they can get that information, and that gives them a quick, transfer of data. Because if they have to do it on the internet, they have to go through multiple hops, and that may be traceable on the internet. So if I do a trace cert on my connections that I get, that is possible that the connection is not going to be as fast, because it has to make multiple hops through routers. While if you get on an ASN, you got a direct connection, you don't have any hops. So you basically get the finest, the fastest. If you're doing data transfer of video, you're going to get much faster, higher transfer rates because you have a direct connection. So like I said, these companies should not be on there, and especially one company called Elliott Associates that I've actually did work for. That was about 5 years ago, and when I was on Verizon. So if they're going to be on my network, they would be on my Verizon network, but they're actually on my Cablevision network, and I haven't interacted with them in a long time. But I have other information that I can't show you about that company. Going further, so that is the ASN. Now I have a little nifty little tool that I can thank Katrina for, which was the Little Snitch network. I'm going to show you that now. So basically what this tool allows me to do is to monitor incoming and outgoing network traffic and map it out on a map. So here you can see I have some services here, but let me just show you. I'm gonna cancel out the filters here, and that's actually going to show me my entire network once I remove all the filters. Oops, it's thinking. So now it's actually going in and clearing out here. Let me just clear this all out. All right, so this is basically monitoring all network activity that's coming in and out of my network. This is a really useful tool. You can see that any of my internet activities are being tracked and mapped out here. This is highly suspect because some of these companies I have not even visited, and you can see this is I'm going to say what it is. It's pretty much the Illuminati spy network. You can see that all these are traces to different countries in the world, and they're using a lot of this. They're using Apple networks to do this through my Apple accounts. you'll notice that when I look at some of these accounts or trace some of these records, that it's actually going to um, like places like in parks and things like that. Like these people are slick. They know that I'm going to be able to trace some of this stuff. So what they'll do is they'll go into parks or public places, and you can't find them. So let me just zoom into this like one here. See, this always ends up in a park or somewhere that's rural when I go for these traces. So this is on the Christina River. Like, why do I get that? A lot of these end up in like parks. So and usually what it is, it's either a process or it doesn't match up to where they're supposed to be. But with this application, which is pretty useful, I can find out some of these perpetrators that are actually on my network. It's a little bit slow because I'm live streaming, and I don't really have a lot of memory on this Mac, so it's kind of chugging along here. You can see when it turns green that there's incoming connections coming into my computer here. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a filter search here, and let's just look at .gov right now. So this will actually show me the government agencies that are actually I've interacted with on the internet, or has interacted with me. So now if I actually go into Safari, I can see fcc.gov. Okay, that's legit. That's a legit connection because I was doing some research on the FCC because I was doing radio frequency searches to find out some evidence that I was looking for. nyccourts.gov, that's legit. That's actually well, see here, the problem with this is that the code signature does not match. It's been modified. So this tells me that somebody was actually using newyorkcourts.gov and impersonating that, because I've actually done, obviously I have a divorce case going right now and I'm dealing with nyccourts.gov. But if you look at this, nyccourts.gov that I'm dealing with, or nycourts.gov, is in Long Island, but this could be legit. This might be just where they host the servers for that website. So that's up in Norwich, New York. But you see here, this is actually mapping to UHS Shenandoah Memorial Hospital. So I don't think that's legit because the code signature has been modified. So that's not the host name. I don't think the servers are up there, but in the hospital up there. This is probably somebody that's doing medical testing on me or research, and they're using nyccourts.gov to impersonate. So basically, they modified the code signature. So this is a hijack connection up to Norwich, New York. That's upstate New York. So why is this company on there? Did I ever go to this website? It's possible, but it's highly suspect because the code signature has been modified. All right, moving ahead. Here we have defense.gov. www. I've never been to this website, so I'm not sure why this is on my network monitoring tool. So they're actually making connections here. So if I actually click on the actual link here, you can see. We'll zoom in on it. This is basically just another resource that was modified. So this was another hijack code signature. It was modified. So this doesn't really tell me much. It's just going to a general location in the U.S. So it doesn't have a precise location. So what I can do is I can grab the IP address. Let's grab the IP address here. copy, and then I'm going to go into Safari again. I apologize, it's really slow because I don't have a lot of memory here. And I will go to IP info. I'll just put it in here too. I usually don't use this, but okay. So this is actually going to New Jersey. Akemi Technologies. And they're an internet service provider. Address isn't, see, this doesn't make sense. This is in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So this could be possibly, see, this doesn't make sense because it's showing here it's in Newark, New Jersey. But the object is Akemi Network Technologies, and they're in, well, okay, I guess maybe this is where you report abuse. Yeah, so that might be different. That might be a different address. So that's kind of odd. Go back. So that might be that could be a fusion center, but you see how they modified the code signature, so it's not accurate. All right, let me filter this back. And we'll go back to .gov, I should say. And this will change. So like every day, as you make connections, there'll be companies coming in and out, or organizations coming in and out. Especially if you're using Safari, you're browsing. So these are the browsing searches that came up. I don't believe I went to defense.gov. There was no reason for me to go there. But if I have, then if there's companies here that I haven't dealt with, they'll show up on here. But sometimes they'll change the code signature, so it could be a hijack attempt, or oh, here we go. So governmentdelivery.com, ny.gov, nystateofhealth.newyork.gov. Okay, so that's legit because I've actually did work, well, not work, but filing for my Obamacare. So that will actually show up on there as well. So that's not suspicious. If I go on to EDUs, let's go to universities, because I found some that was kind of suspicious. Here you can tell, you can see what universities are actually connecting to your network. Now that's really weird because now I don't see anything here. Why is that? Okay, here we go, EDU, now we go. So now we can see that these are actually university connections. So I have some from Hong Kong. Looks like there's a connection there from Hong Kong. So we'll scroll in here. And you can see it's never accurate. It's ending up in the water. It never actually, because what they usually do is they spoof the connection. So this is EDU HK in Hong Kong. So I don't know who this is, but let's see what's going on here. Let me just open these up. Open.edu, Google. So either I went to this website through the Google Chrome browser, or they connected to me through my Google Chrome browser. So if I actually go here, and we can actually capture the traffic as well here through the Chrome helper. But I actually want to get the IP address here. It's actually checking the code signature to see that it's legit. But in the meantime, I'm going to copy this IP, and then I'm going to go in and and put in that IP address in there. Let's see what I get. So definitely, it is definitely from Hong Kong. The Education University of Hong Kong. So I never went to this company or this university. So this is highly suspect. Apparently they have some interest in my computer. And this is the Education University of Hong Kong. So they must be doing some kind of research and development testing as well. You know, this is highly speculative, but you know, what are they doing on my ASN? I never visited the Education University of Hong Kong, so what are they doing on my network? So that's highly suspicious as well. Go back into my little snitch here. Notice that a lot of these, in the beginning when I installed this, I was getting connections directly to buildings, like university buildings or company buildings. But now it seems like they're spoofing the connections, and it's never accurate now, the actual location where it's at. But it's, you know, it's Hong Kong, but it's a general location. Now I was doing some work in terminal, but I never pinged Columbia University, that is kind of weird. So they're basically, I live out in Long Island, and you know, they're in New York City. I'm not sure what was going on there, but you can see it's always close to the medical centers, these pings. So I wouldn't be surprised if Columbia University is involved as well. You know, that's highly speculative. Um, yeah, this looks like maybe an FTP site I went to maybe to download something. So I can't really hold, but it is weird. It looks like this is all Columbia University Hospital. So it is actually that is a little suspicious that it's, you know, right a block away from the major center of Columbia University Medical Center. I wouldn't put it past them, you know, that this is something to do with medical testing. All right, moving forward. So if I clear this out, you can see that a lot of this, you know, shows you pretty much internationally the network structure. It's not. I'm not saying that every one of these connections is you know, suspect. These could be you browsing the web, and it's capturing the information from what you're browsing, and it's mapping out the locations of where all these companies are or website servers are. But it is suspect because some of these I have never actually visited. You know, it's like Cape Town. You know, what's going on here? If I click on it, it's going to filter it out and give me some information here. So this is Western Cape, South Africa. Here are the IP addresses that are involved. So what I can do is I can right click and I can do a copy, and then I can actually switch over. See if I can switch over. Let me switch. No, it won't. I have to actually close this. So I'm going to close this out. And then type in the IP address here. Here's Cape Town, Johannesburg, Microsoft. So this is probably maybe, yeah, that's weird because I'm on a Mac, not on a Microsoft corporation. I mean, I'm not on a PC. So what is Microsoft making connections here to me? I'm not doing Windows updates, you know. So that's highly suspicious. And it's in Cape Town, out of the country. So, you know, different laws apply to that if they're doing any kind of non-consensual testing or medical research. And yeah, Microsoft is definitely involved, especially with these vaccines that are going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is actually, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm a test case or a beta subject for these coronaviruses. So for the vaccine. All right, moving ahead. Get back to Little Snitch. Now I do use a product called Fing, and that is actually an application that I do to check on who's on my network or using or trying to connect through my Wi-Fi. I've got a couple of people that don't belong on my network. Fing is a great device, a tool. I'll show you that a little later. So there's what I find here suspicious is Berkeley Packet Filter. Now I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's actually some packet filtering device that's connecting to a private network. It's got a valid signature. It's a low-level service in the operating system primarily made for wiretapping and debugging network traffic. Well, that's okay. I can understand that because Fing is a network application that actually monitors your network. So it could be a legit piece of software from Berkeley. I don't know if that's Berkeley College or Berkeley University. But I find this kind of suspicious that it connects to WhatsApp app. WhatsApp app is known to having backdoors. A lot of perps use WhatsApp app, and that is highly suspicious. Why is that in the Fing app? So what I found is a lot of perps that were, when I was dealing with them, always wanted me to connect to WhatsApp app, and then they could actually, I believe there's a back door. There was actually an article I think on the internet that there's a back door that allows them to access your contact information, so they could access all your contacts. So that's kind of highly suspicious that in the Fing app that they're using WhatsApp app. And you can actually block these connections if you want. In my case, I'm going to deny connections because I don't want anything for WhatsApp app on my network. Moving forward, it's kind of a high-level overview of the app. So I think I'll leave it there. I would gonna bring up the Fing app now, so you can guys see what that's all about. Now I usually use a Fing box. It's not hooked up for this case study here, but just bring this up here. So you can see this is the Fing app. They have this on the iPhone and Android devices. This is pretty cool because it actually shows you if you have any problems on your internet. You can do speed tests, and there's some tools here that allow you to ping devices, do a Wi-Fi scanner. So I can actually come in here and see if there's any access points. There's nothing here right now. And then I can actually go in and look at my network if I want to. Find open ports, do a router vulnerability check. That's actually pretty cool. Although you have to probably pay for that. So if you wanted to actually check your routers to see if they're being compromised, you could run this tool. Let's see if I have anything here. Yeah, I'm not really connected, so I'm not really going to go into detail. I don't want to be showing people my network. But I definitely highly recommend if you get the Fing tool, and you can actually see if there's any other computers on your network that aren't supposed to be on your local network. So this is your immediate local network that you're on. at home. You know, so that's this is actually a good tool for you to find out. I'm not going to go into details with this, but see if I can. So this has also ping as well. You can ping their ping devices. I'm not connected right now because I didn't put in the system admin accounts. But those are some tools that I use. But the point was here is that when I ran my ASN report about 2 months ago, I had 4 pages, and now I have down to two pages. So that's highly suspect. You know, why would these people drop off within a month after I started doing research on this? So I have the evidence here. So that's why you need to capture screenshots or make PDF exports for evidence purposes, because what these people will do if they find out that you're doing research and you're finding out who they are, they will attempt to get themselves off the network of your ASN, and then you have no proof whatsoever. So at least here I have proof at the time when I made these screenshots, and make sure that you have the date and time stamps on those by looking at the file when you exported the files out. So I made these about 4 months ago, or three or four months ago, and you can see clearly that you know, I had 4 pages. Now I'm down to 2, actually almost 1 page. So a lot of these suspect companies dropped themselves from my ASN, which is highly suspect. So they probably don't want to get caught. But if I had some kind of if I had the FBI involved, or some investigative agency involved, they could actually do some more research and find out a little bit more information than what I have access to. But unfortunately, when I try to take this to the FBI, they try to label me crazy, and they want me to go to see a doctor. And I've been to doctors, and I have all that evidence as well. I have more evidence than I've been to Hildegard, Staniger, and I've also been with Dr. Kildee, which is the same person. And then I've actually done the, what do you call it? What do you call this? Let me look this up. I keep forgetting what it is. I did one of those, what do you call it? The SCADA assessment reports with Melinda Kidder. So I had that information, and when I did that assessment with her, she basically gave me a list of frequencies that are actually pointing towards me, and from those frequencies I was able to find out that some of these are military industrial complex companies as well as local companies. And what I've actually done is, let me show you this site. This is actually a really good site. So while I'm still recording here, so I'm going to go into my go back into my browser, and I am going to do a search. FCC.gov, and in the FCC.gov you can actually let me see if I have a better FCC search databases. So this is a FCC search database, and you can see that there's a whole bunch of different FCC database searches that you can do. The one I usually like to use is the general menu by frequency, which is this one. Now, if you find any suspect frequencies that are either being emitted from you or to you, you can actually go in here and type in the actual frequency here. So I'm going to do an example of one. Grab one here. So based on my 8-scale assessment. Basically, I can't show you this because this is I have a non-disclosure agreement with this, but just for example, I'm going to put in a frequency in here. So this is a frequency that I found myself. So basically you put the start frequency and you put the end frequency in here, and then you hit the submit query. And then what that will do is go out on the FCC database and find out what companies are registered under that frequency. It's pretty useful. It may take a few minutes because it's a big database, but what will happen is it'll come back with a frequency and identifier who actually owns that frequency or is registered with the FCC or international database, whatever it is, depending what it is. So let that run for a second. It usually takes about a minute because it's going through a big list of frequencies. Come on. It's thinking. So this is particularly useful if you're trying to figure out, you're finding frequencies that are being emitted to your body or to or from your body. You can actually, if you're able to pinpoint those frequencies, you can put just the frequency in here, and it'll actually give you information about that frequency if it's legit or it's registered. Come on, it doesn't always take this long. I'm going to submit the query again. I think my screen locked up. Yeah, it seems to be locked up. Figures, when I'm trying to do this. But this is a good website that you can go to. The website's listed up here. So basically we'll give you all the frequencies information. And this is actually coming from the Federal Communications Commission database. So this is all legit. There we go. Took a while. So you can see here that particular frequency is registered to Hawaii Pacific Teleport. So then you'd have to do a little bit more research on that company to find out why that frequency is being emitted to you. I mean, this company's in Hawaii, so those are some of the things. It's actually, this looks like there's about 3 other companies that actually registered this. So that gives you some information there to these frequencies that are being emitted from you or to them. So that's actually good useful for evidence gathering, I guess. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys have any questions, you can leave comments below. But that's some of the things that I do. I really like using the little snitch network because that actually gives you the information in real time. So if you have a Mac, I would highly recommend that you get a little snitch. I think it's like $30 or something like that. It's a firewall as well, so it actually will block incoming, outgoing traffic. So if you're not, if there's suspicious activity going on in your network, you can actually block that through the little snitch network. What's also useful with this is you can actually, if you have a suspicious process that you want to track, you can actually go into the process. So like if you want to track Apple, this is probably a legit process. It actually gives you a lot of information about it. So this is probably a legit process, but if you want to know what's going on in there, you can actually capture the network traffic. And that will actually save it into like a Wireshark format. And then you can go into Wireshark and view that information in Wireshark. So I'm just basically saving this on my iCloud account, and basically it will save that data, and then you can open that up in your iCloud. So like I just saved that. So now if I go, have to go into my iCloud data, close all that. See if I don't have access to it right now because I'm running OBS on the other side. But then what you can do is you can go into Wireshark. I'll launch that. So this is a nifty app where you can actually do network analyzing, network capturing of data. And in here you can actually, I'll just skip this, remind me later. I don't want to update right now. This is basically a network packet filter. Basically monitors network traffic at the lower levels of the network layers. If I do open, I could do find recent. I see here's a recent one that I have open one. So basically, you can do wire capture. It's still loading it. It's actually a pretty long one. So I was basically monitoring a process, and I was basically trying to find out what's going on with that process. And what it was doing, what this Wireshark does, is we'll capture all the inbound, outbound data off your network, and you can actually see, some of these sources and IPs that it's destinations that it's traveling to. So this one was a suspect one that I was looking at, and you can see that these IP addresses where it's going, source, destination, protocols that's using. And if you find something suspicious, you can just document it here, and this can be used as evidence in the court of law. Let's see here, frames, internet protocols. You'd have to go through this. This is a big one I have here. I'm still looking through this, but I had some kind of suspicious process that I was concerned about, and I had it captured. And it will just, with little snits, you can have it sit there and it runs. And, you just start capturing data, and then when you're done, you can save it as a file, and then you can open it up in Wireshark and then look at the data. So here in my case, I can look at the source here, source destination. So it basically shows it's going back and forth. So what we can do here is it's locking up on me. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I ran out of, it locked up on me. But anyway, there we go. Alright, so let me see if I can actually copy. Well, let's just do this. Let's minimize this here. Go into Safari. Anyway, you can go to IP info and then look this up, this IP address, to see who this is. That's basically what it does. I'm not going to get into too details on this right now because I'm doing other things with this. But that's actually a good app to use, Wireshark. You can have it on your PC as well. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap up, so I hope that you found something informational here. Thanks.